Losing is something every human being goes through. Losing a parlay, losing a bad bitch, losing the bag. It's a canon event that every man, woman, they, them has to go through in order to experience real growth and prosperity in life. But when you start to lose a little bit too much, the win-loss ratio starts looking a little iffy. That's when we have a problem on our hands. Something's wrong. Changes need to be made. I consider it a talent, a gift to be able to lose at such a high caliber that even your wins seem ass because we all know another L is approaching. So today, we're going over the niggas who lose so much, we should consider it an art to fail at such an elite level. Let's lock the fuck in.
And I'm Kanye West.
Arguably one of the most influential artists of our generation, both in the music and the fashion industry. The only man alive who can get an entire generation to rock clothes 4 sizes too big and call it fashion. Had motherfuckers thinking this fit was cold. Whole time, shawty fighting a 1v1 with Master Hand. Kanye West was always known for being controversial and having outrageous takes or complete mental breakdowns.
What the fuck does she know about cameras?
But recently, the L's been racking up. I ain't gonna lie, the L's been escalating to the point where you gotta think, is he doing this on purpose? He gotta be doing this on purpose, right? He has to be. But before we get to the meat and potatoes of the Kanye West downfall, we gotta unthaw the meat and peel the potatoes first, don't we? The 2020s have not been well to Mr. West. He first started this decade off in a huge way. How, you may ask? Running for the president of the United States. And yes, he was serious. He was dead ass.
Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
In 2021, he dropped Donda, which was his last listenable album. Everything after that.
Me to say the wrong thing. Okay, you the king, Burger King.
This nigga is trash.
Oh, and how could I forget? He also set himself on fire, which led to some tough ass picks. I'm not gonna lie, the picks was hard. In 2022, while being interviewed by Alex Jones, who I don't know either, so you're not the only one, he said this.
That's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also.
I see good things about Hitler also.
Which led to Adidas dropping him after almost 10 years of their partnership. In 2023, Kanye got married to Bianca Censori, an Australian who be designing buildings and shit. Not too long after the news dropped that Kanye was getting remarried a year after him and his wife of 10 years divorced, we slowly started to realize this motherfucker don't like wearing actual clothes. Just be letting the bazungas out like your dog when he ain't been outside in 45 minutes. Aggressive as fuck. There's been theories that Kanye has been forcing her to dress his way, but that hasn't been confirmed yet, so we're gonna hold off on adding that to the list of L's until we see how she dresses now. You know, now that they're no longer together. Spoiler alert, they're not together anymore. He also got sued a couple times, so there's 3 reasons why 2023 was such a big year for Mr. West. In 2024, he dropped this tank top, and I'm convinced if Kanye walked out the house with nothing but socks, y'all will wear it. Wait, he already did? Hold on now. Hey, Kanye. Wow, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he said he was coming out with an adult film studio, right? Oh, and he dropped his premium toilet paper and called it Vultures. Now we're in 2025, and boy, oh boy, the Kanye West train shows no signs of stopping. He starts this year off by pulling up to the Grammys. Now that doesn't sound too bad, right? He was wearing this, you know, pretty tame, nice, calm fit, and his wife? Yeah, she was wearing, nothing. She was wearing nothing, just butt ass on the red carpet. Of course, this led to him and his naked wife being escorted out because, you know, there's obviously kids here and this is the Grammys, not the annual Gooner convention. Actually, I recently learned that he didn't get kicked out. He basically just pulled up, walked the red carpet, hopped in his car and left. Swear they the main character. And just when you think Kanye's year couldn't get any worse. I mean, it's only March. What else could he possibly do? Well, one thing about Kanye, yeah, he's very consistent. In the beginning of February, he goes on an insane Twitter rant saying the worst things you could possibly imagine, which leads to Kanye losing everything from brand deals to management to even his own wife. So not only did he lose his credibility as a cultural legend, his creative musical genius, and his family, he also lost his woman? That brother is fighting demons the devil himself fears. Mark Grayson, or should I say the speed bag, the sack of shit. The show is called because it truly is He gets his ass beat every episode and somehow gets out of it with just a black eye and a busted lip. And I understand, I get it. The show is meant to be a zero to hero kind of story where the main character starts off as a fucking idiot, a loser, a dork who gets verbally and mentally abused by his girlfriend because the entire first season, she made his man's life hell because he wasn't spending enough time with her. Why? Because he's a superhero, you know, out saving lives and whatnot. But maybe she doesn't know that and just assumes he's out getting hoes, and no, she knew the whole time and was mad because he didn't tell her that he was part alien. Like that's something that can be talked about over boba tea and macarons. Amber does get better to tolerate over the next 2 seasons, but this motherfucker still had to go. This was the first loss this loser ass nigga took. But Amber, you know, a beautiful black educated queen, so I'll go ahead and make it half an L just for that. But like I said, I understand the zero to hero trope, but my problem is, when does the hero part kick in? Mark has been taking non-stop L after L after L after L since the first fucking season. And sometimes it's not his fault. He genuinely will be forced to fight people that were quite literally born for battle, and he's just a college kid, but damn, when does it click? Like the Battle Beast fight. This wasn't even a fight, more like a very unfortunate circumstance. My boy Mark starts to fight off getting jumped by the 4 elements. Fire. Electricity, gum, and yeah! Machine Head getting cocky, yapping about
I'm gonna grind you up and turn you into pavement.
Mark getting his insides cooked to oblivion by Electro's second cousin, High Power Bill, while he watches his only black friend get splooged on by a Human Torch if he was woke. That's when he finally decides to lock in and get a power boost. One-shotting Hubba Bubba Bubblegum, High Power Bill, and woke Human Torch. What happens next? Just watch. He start talking that shit, saying, "Who's next?" Brother, you don't want to know. BB didn't even let the frame finish before he got right to the ass whooping. After this, we see the most brutal beatdown a main character has ever taken since Creed versus Nikola Jokic. Sadly, that's another L for Invincible. It only racks up from here. The next opponent he fought, his daddy. And he got his ass beat so bad, him and Nolan almost destroyed the entire city of Chicago just off of Nolan throwing his own son's body around. I don't know what's up with the creator of Invincible and why he loves putting Mark against niggas he obviously is not in the same league with, but bro must love seeing him get violated. He gotta be homies with the Spider-Man writers, because one thing for sure and 2 things are for certain when it comes to Peter Parker. If he's happy with life, something is wrong, and they're gonna try their best to make it miserable. Now we'll be here all day counting every single L that Mark has on his belt, but look on the bright side. He finally started to get some dubs, and at least he's not immortal. I don't know how that nigga still has a job. Immortal getting packed by a giraffe with a bad attitude. And how was he able to get a happy ending, but my nigga Rex? He cut things off with Amber and allowed the Snow Bunny mind control to take over. Eve is a way better character and partner for Mark, but that's obvious, so we're gonna go ahead and add that to the W's. He finally won a couple fights versus his own kind and Megamind with a very bad migraine and even got some new drip until he gets his shit tossed around again. How you lose to Dr. C.I.'s Big Mark? How? Let's just move on. Okay, so after further research, and by research I mean watching the last episode of season 3 of Invincible, I've came to the conclusion that Mark is definitely invincible. I am so sorry, Mark, for every single bit of disrespect that I gave you in this segment. I take that all back, my nigga. You are invincible. You are him. But my other question is, yo, Adam Eve, maybe you're invincible too, okay? Maybe we need to just change the show to Adam Eve instead of Invincible. Now, Mark, I just gave you your flowers. I know I did, but yo, Adam Eve is just fucking nuts. On to the next segment, bro. Last but not least, we have the case that used to hurt the most until recently. Ash Ketchum. Ash is one of those main characters that has to lose because of the plot. Yeah, sometimes the plot armor does go crazy, and I mean flat out belligerent for Ash, because I don't know how he's able to do half of this shit. This nigga was carrying a hippo on his cranium. For those that don't know, this adorable little shit is 110 pounds of sand and whatever else he manages to swallow in the desert. What about the time he was carrying a Laratar and his Jansport? That's like 37 textbooks, and this motherfucker had it sitting on his lap. That's why he never grew up. The nigga balls was decimated. Or the time when he completely went against the rules of the entire verse and said, "Fuck this battle and shit, catch this fade," and tried to punch Mewtwo. Mewtwo, the same science experiment that you know blew up an entire island with his mind. And I'm not not even mad at the idea. Sometimes 6'7", 270-pound aliens need their ass beat to get the point across. I'm mad at the way you did it.
My boy Ash starts off with his favorite emote, turning that hat to the back. That's how you really know he mean business.
Then for some odd reason, Ash smooth-brained ass decides to run a 40-yard dash to Mewtwo. Had everybody in the surrounding area confuzzled. Nobody knows what this nincompoop is doing. He starts loading up this absolute haymaker. I mean, this the shit that Ryan Garcia hit Devin Haney with. Of course, that shit was blocked by the GOAT and Ash was put on his ass. I ain't gonna lie, the recovery was clean though, boy. That recovery was clean though. We're not even gonna consider that an L though. Let's just chalk it up to teenage angst. The real L happens throughout the series as Ash continues his journey to become a Pokemon master. Well, the thing about Ash is he's had a lot of broken Pokemon, like his main man Pikachu. This little nigga was boxing legendaries with a base stat total of 320. So if he's able to fight a fucking Latios to a draw, what do you think he's gonna do against let's say a level 5 Snivy? He should absolutely dog this little shit, right? Wrong. He gets two-shotted. Once by Tackle and Leaf Tornado, a move Snivy didn't learn until level 16, and Trip, the guy he was battling, just got Snivy like 20 minutes ago. Ain't no way it was anywhere near close to learning that shit. I know Professor Juniper fine ass not giving away pre-owned Pokemon. What the fuck is going on? Keep in mind, this is the same Pikachu that tanked the Giga Impact from a Latios. And this is what I mean by the plot been plotting against Ash since the 90s. There's been times where it was clear Ash should be winning the fight, but some random bullshit happens, forcing him to lose just to drive the plot. A good example of this is his fight with Richie in the 5th round of the Indigo League. Richie's team consisted of Happy the Butterfree, Zippo the Charmander, and Sparky the Pikachu. My boy ChatGPT the fuck out these names. It started off with Butterfree versus Squirtle. This is when you knew how this fight was gonna go. Squirtle gets eliminated for being put to sleep. This has never happened in the show, the manga, the games, but now a status effect is enough to render a Pokemon unable to battle. Nigga, in the games, if I'm put to sleep, I get my ass beat until he eventually wakes up. Now we get eliminated off the bat? What the hell is going on? Plot armor. We witness these superpowered monster beings fight to the death to the point where they're barely standing. But a sleep powder is enough now? I don't even know how he managed to land sleep powder. If you play Pokemon, you know anything less than 100% accuracy might as well be a 25% chance of hitting. The rest of the fight, a joke. Pikachu comes in and gets Butterfree sorry ass up out of there. Then Charmander knocks Pikachu out with a tackle. Another goddamn tackle. Pikachu, can't you dodge? Damn! But I'm gonna give Pikachu a bone on this one because I forgot to mention one key event that happened before this fight, which is another case of the plot working against Ash. So before this fight even happened, Team Rocket finessed Ash into coming outside with Pikachu so they could, of course, slime his ass. Pikachu and Ash managed to escape them using Pidgeotto, and Ash barely made it to his fight with Richie on time. With the load Pidgeotto was carrying combined with flying as fast as he could, he was exhausted by the time of the fight, which puts Ash down a very powerful member in Pidgeotto already. So Pikachu losing to a tackle is not too far-fetched. He was probably a little tired from dealing with them bums. But the next thing that happens in this fight made me happy that dragons don't exist in real life. Because if they did, the coat I would be making out of these niggas would have went crazy. Charizard comes out and bitches Charmander into submission, and that's when Richie let his ace out. Sparky the Pikachu. This is about to be the most brutal, nerve-wracking, intense fight you've ever seen, and Charizard just did not feel like fighting anymore, so he took a nap, which causes Ash to lose the league. Ash better than me. I would have threw a rock at this hard-headed fuck. Unfortunately, the hoeing does not stop there, but if I was to go into detail about every time Ash was hoed, this video would be long as shit, and I don't want that. So we're gonna speed run through my favorite instances of Ash getting hoed by the plot and the plot alone. The Tobias fight in the Sinnoh Lily of the Valley semifinals. This was Ash's team, and this is 2 of Tobias's team. We don't even know the other 4 Pokemon this nigga owned because he only had to use 2 to win the entire tournament. A mythical and a legendary. Where do you, a side character, acquire such artillery? I know there's a chance of it being multiple Latios in the Pokemon canon, and that's okay. Maybe this nigga is maybe he's just like that. But Darkrai, do you know how him you have to be to even manage to encounter one? He's the nightmare Pokemon. He only resides in people's nightmares. How do you get that nigga out of a person's nightmare? Who let you in their dreams so you can catch this damn Pokemon, bro? Who are you? This motherfucker Tobias is out here doing mystery gift events and he's allowed to enter the tournament? The Allen fight. Blast burn. The entire Gen 5 anime was basically an entire fuck you to Ash and every ounce of development he ever gotten. Just look at the screenshot and it'll tell you everything you need to know. Pure ass. Compare this second string squad to a Sinnoh team and you can't tell me they weren't trying to bully my boy. And the fact that Ash lost to this nigga Cameron, who didn't even know the tournament battles were teams of 6 and only brought 5 Pokemon. Yet Ash, who made it to the semifinals just last season, mind you, still managed to lose because they gave Cameron the plot armor and made his Riolu evolve mid-fight and completely sweep Ash's team. You know what? We're just gonna forget about the Unova anime completely. Here, look at this. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Ash eventually did get the love he deserved and finally became the world champion. And I'm not gonna lie, that shit made me shed real tears. Seeing a character you grew up with, I watched him get hold every single season of the damn anime. Seeing him finally win something and having it be the biggest tournament in the show made it so much better. Because we not counting that a Alolan dub. If he lost that 3v3, I was going to go into the show myself and teaching this nigga how to IV train. Now this video is getting way longer than I expected it to be, so if y'all want a part 2, please let me know in the comments, because there's too many people, too many characters who lose way too much. I'm starting to think either they have a weird kink going on or maybe they're just God's worst enemy. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for even clicking on this video. I love you so much, you precious little soul. Mwah. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I love you. Peace.